First contact and the desperate plea. The signal arrived during the night shift at Frontier Station Epsilon, piercing through the cosmic background noise with an unmistakable pattern that set off every detection system. Commander Elena Vasquez had been reviewing maintenance reports when Lieutenant Patel burst into her office, face flushed with excitement. "Commander, you need to see this," he said, handing her a data tablet. "It's not one of ours, and it's definitely not random." Elena studied the pulsing waveform on the screen. After 15 years in the United Earth Space Force, she'd seen countless anomalies, but this was different. The pattern had structure, precision, intelligence. "How long has it been broadcasting?" she asked, already moving toward the command center. 3 hours, 17 minutes, Patel replied, struggling to keep pace. "And Commander, it's aimed directly at us." The command center buzzed with hushed conversations that fell silent as Elena entered. The main display showed a three-dimensional representation of the signal's origin, approximately 40 light-years from Earth, well beyond humanity's current exploration range. "Tell me what we know," Elena said, addressing Dr. Maya Okafor, the station's chief xenolinguist. Maya gestured to her workstation. "It's definitely artificial, Commander. The quantum structure suggests it's using technology we've theorized but haven't developed yet, an instantaneous communication method. That's why we're receiving it in real time despite the distance. Content. That's the fascinating part." Maya's eyes gleamed with academic enthusiasm. "It's a first contact package combined with, well, there's no other way to describe it, a distress call." Elena leaned closer to the display. "Someone out there not only knows we exist but needs our help. That's a hell of a first contact." Maya nodded. "The translation matrix is still processing, but we've deciphered enough to understand the basics. They call themselves the Luminar Collective, a federation of spacefaring species, and they're under attack." The next 12 hours passed in a blur of activity. Elena ordered the station to maximum alert status, while transmission after transmission arrived. Each message contained more information: technical data, star charts, biological profiles of various Luminar species, and increasingly desperate pleas for assistance. By the time Fleet Admiral Wong arrived from Earth via emergency shuttle, Elena had compiled a comprehensive briefing package. "So they've been watching us," the Admiral said, her weathered face impassive as she reviewed the data. "For centuries, apparently." "Yes, sir," Elena confirmed. "According to the Luminar representative, someone named Ambassador Joe Carey, Earth has been classified as a guardian world in their stellar catalogs." Guardian world. The Admiral raised an eyebrow. Dr. Okafor stepped forward. "It's a designation they give to planets with what they call apex adaptive species. Essentially, worlds where life evolved under harsh conditions, producing species with aggressive survival traits. They were afraid of us," Admiral Wong concluded. "With respect," Elena said, "based on what we've learned about their biology and societal development, they had reason to be. The Luminar species evolved on worlds with stable climates, few predators, and abundant resources. Their physiologies are adapted for cooperation rather than competition." Admiral Wong's eyes narrowed. "And now something worse than humans has appeared." Elena nodded grimly. "They call them the Devourers, a non-communicative species that consumes all organic matter on planets they encounter. The Luminar defenses have failed at every engagement." The Admiral was silent for a long moment. "And they believe we can succeed where they failed. Based on what?" Elena activated a holographic comparison between human biology and the various Luminar species. "Our physical resilience exceeds theirs by significant margins. Our endurance, pain tolerance, recovery rate, even our psychological capacity to function under extreme stress. Traits that evolved on Earth as survival adaptations are precisely what they need now. They've been monitoring our global communications," Dr. Okafor added. "They've studied our military history, our technological development path. They believe our Warlike tendencies make us uniquely suited to combat the Devourers. Admiral Wong rose and stood before the viewport, gazing at Earth visible in the distance. So after centuries of peaceful space exploration, humanity's first contact with alien intelligence is a request to fight their war. Not just their war, Admiral, Alina said quietly. The Devourers don't distinguish between species. If they consume the Luminar worlds, ours will eventually follow. 3 days later, the United Earth Council voted unanimously to respond to the Luminar distress call. The decision triggered the largest military mobilization in human history. Every available warship was recalled, retrofitted, and prepared for deep space travel. Crews were selected based on combat experience, psychological resilience, and adaptability. Alina found herself assigned as captain of the UES Intrepid, Earth's newest battlecruiser. As she walked through the massive vessel during final preparations, she marveled at the controlled chaos. Engineers installed weapons systems based on Luminar technical data. Scientists studied biological information about both the Luminar and the Devourers, searching for tactical advantages. Captain on deck, called Lieutenant Commander Raj Sharma as Alina entered the bridge. The crew snapped to attention. As you were, Alina said, moving to the command chair. Status report. All systems green, Captain. Sharma replied. Crew complement at 100%. We're awaiting final supply transfers. Helena nodded, studying the bridge crew. Each face reflected a mix of determination and uncertainty. They had trained for space combat against human adversaries, not alien threats. Engineering reports the modified FTL drive is online and stable, reported Lieutenant Sophia Dias from the operations station. The Luminar specs checked out. We should be able to reach their nearest colony in 6 days. Weapons integration? Elena asked. Challenging but functional, answered Chief Weapons Officer Marcus Chen. We've adapted our railguns to fire specialized rounds based on the biological data of the Devourers. If their information is accurate, we should be able to penetrate their outer membranes. Elena was about to respond when the communications officer interrupted. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Central Command. Admiral Wong requests your presence in the secure communications room. 10 minutes later, Elena stood before a holographic projection of Admiral Wong and a being she immediately recognized as non-human. The creature was roughly humanoid, but with translucent skin that pulsed with internal bioluminescence. 4 elongated arms folded gracefully across a slender torso, and large compound eyes dominated a face with no visible nose. Captain Vasquez, Admiral Wong began. Allow me to introduce Ambassador Zhou Carey of the Luminar Collective. The ambassador has offered to accompany our fleet as an advisor. It is an honor to meet you, Captain, the alien said, voice melodious despite coming through a translation device. Your willingness to aid us has brought hope to billions across Luminar space. Belina maintained her professional composure despite the momentous nature of humanity's first face-to-face encounter with an alien intelligence. The honor is mine, Ambassador. We look forward to working together. The ambassador's skin pulsed with blue light. I must confess, Captain, that many in our collective feared this day. We have observed your species' capacity for violence with great concern. Yet now, that same capacity may save countless lives. History is full of ironies, Ambassador, Elena replied. But I assure you, we understand the gravity of this mission. After the communication ended, Elena returned to the bridge, her mind racing with the implications of what lay ahead. Humanity was about to venture into interstellar war alongside an alien species that had kept their distance out of fear. And now, that same fear had transformed into desperate hope. Final preparations complete, Captain, Sharma reported as Elena took her command seat. Fleet Command signals we are cleared for departure. Through the view screen, Elena could see the assembled human fleet. 27 warships of various classes, the largest military force ever assembled in Earth's history. Communications, open a channel to all ships, she ordered. When the officer nodded confirmation, Elena spoke clearly and confidently. This is Captain Vasquez. We stand at a turning point in human history. Today we answer a call from the stars, not as conquerors, but as defenders. Every one of you was chosen for your skills, your courage, and your humanity. The journey ahead will test us in ways we cannot fully imagine, but I have absolute faith in each of you. She paused, looking at the faces of her bridge crew. The Luminar call Earth a guardian world. Let's show them why. Helm, set course for Sanctuary 7. Engage FTL when ready. As the Intrepid's engines powered up, Alina felt the weight of responsibility settle firmly on her shoulders. The ship surged forward, leading Earth's fleet into the unknown, toward humanity's first interstellar conflict and whatever awaited them among the stars. The battle for Sanctuary 7. 6 days of faster-than-light travel through the void between stars gave Captain Alina Vasquez time to prepare. But nothing could have truly readied her for the sight that greeted the human fleet as they emerged from FTL at Sanctuary 7. The Luminar colony world hung in space like a jewel, its blue-green surface marred by spreading patches of absolute blackness. In orbit, the remnants of a Luminar defense fleet drifted in pieces, evidence of a battle already lost. Life signs on the surface, Alina asked, her voice steady despite the grim scene. Lieutenant Diaz worked her console frantically. Scattered readings, Captain. Approximately 3 million Luminar signatures concentrated in the southern continent. The black areas are moving. Those are the Devourers, Ambassador Joe Carey said, having joined them on the bridge for the arrival. The alien skin had dulled to a pale gray, a sign of distress Alina had learned to recognize during their journey. They consume all organic matter, converting it to expand their collective mass. Alina studied the tactical display, noting the pattern of consumption across the planet's surface. They're methodical, moving in coordinated waves. Yes, the ambassador confirmed. They function as a unified organism, despite appearing as separate entities. Our weapons slow them but cannot stop their advance. Movement in the upper atmosphere, Lieutenant Commander Sharma reported suddenly. Multiple signatures detaching from the main mass. Alina leaned forward. Magnify. The main view screen shifted to show swarms of dark objects rising from the planet's surface. Hundreds, then thousands of them, each roughly the size of a small shuttle. They've detected us. Ambassador Joe Carey's voice trembled. This is how they respond to threats, with overwhelming numbers. Alina's military training took over as she assessed the tactical situation. Communications, alert the fleet. Battle formation Delta. Weapons, bring all systems online. She turned to the ambassador. I need to know everything about their attack patterns. Now. As the ambassador rapidly shared tactical information, the human fleet shifted into defensive positions. The smaller destroyers formed a protective screen around the capital ships, weapons powered, and targeting systems active. They're accelerating toward us, Sharma reported. Impact with the outer defensive line in 3 minutes. Alina studied the approach vector. They're not evading. They're coming straight at us. The Devourers have never needed to develop complex tactics, Ambassador Joe Carey explained. Their numbers and regenerative capabilities have always been sufficient. A grim smile crossed Alina's face. Then they've never faced humans before. Tactical, target the lead swarm with modified rail guns. Fire when ready. The Intrepid shuddered as its main batteries discharged, sending specialized projectiles toward the approaching enemy. Other human ships followed suit, creating a lethal crossfire. The specialized ammunition, developed using the Luminar biological data, tore through the first wave of Devourer craft, causing them to disintegrate in spectacular fashion. Yet for every enemy destroyed, 10 more continued forward, absorbing the losses without breaking formation. They're not slowing down, Sharma warned. All ships, evasive maneuvers, Alina ordered. Do not maintain static positions. The human fleet scattered in coordinated patterns just as the Devourer swarm reached them. What followed was chaos. The alien craft surrounded human vessels, attaching themselves to hulls and attempting to breach them with corrosive secretions. Hull integrity compromised on decks 7 through 9, reported the damage control officer. Sealing affected sections. Elena watched as 2 of the smaller human vessels were completely engulfed, their signals disappearing from tactical displays. The Devourers showed no concern for their own losses, sacrificing hundreds of their number to destroy even a single human ship. This isn't working, Elena realized. We're playing into their strength. They have the numbers to overwhelm us through attrition. She activated the fleet-wide communication system. All ships, fall back to minimum safe distance for nuclear deployment. We're changing tactics. As the human vessels disengage, suffering additional losses during the retreat, Elena outlined her plan to the bridge crew. The Devourers operate as a collective. What happens if we disrupt their ability to communicate? Chief Science Officer Dr. Emilia Rodriguez shook her head. They don't use technology for communication. It's biological, possibly quantum-based. But all biological systems have limitations, Elena insisted. Ambassador, how do they coordinate across planetary distances? Joe Carey's eyes widened with understanding. There must be controller organisms, nodes that relay instructions to the collective. Exactly, Elena said. Every networked system has architecture. Controllers, relays, endpoints. We need to identify their command structure. For the next hour, the human fleet maintained distance while conducting intensive scans of both the orbital swarm and the planet's surface. Dr. Rodriguez coordinated with science teams across the fleet, analyzing patterns in the Devourers' movements and energy signatures. Captain, I think we found something, she reported finally. There are energy concentrations at specific points in the swarm, locations where activity spikes just before coordinated movements. Elena studied the highlighted areas on the tactical display. How many? 7 major nodes in the orbital swarm, and 1 massive concentration on the surface, likely the primary controller. Can we target them specifically? Dr. Rodriguez nodded cautiously. Yes, but we need to get close, within their defensive perimeter. Elena considered this information, weighing the risks against their dwindling options. The Devourers were reorganizing, preparing for another assault that would likely overwhelm the remaining human forces. We need a distraction, she decided. Something to draw their attention while a smaller team targets these nodes. She outlined her plan quickly. The bulk of the fleet would launch a diversionary attack, while the Intrepid and 2 destroyers would use the chaos to penetrate the Devourer defenses and deliver specialized weapons directly to the control nodes. It's a suicide mission, Sharma said quietly. Maybe, Elena acknowledged. But we didn't come all this way to fail. When the plan was communicated to the fleet, there were no objections. Each captain understood the stakes, not just for the Luminar colonists trapped on the surface, but for all sentient life that might eventually face the Devourer threat. The battle resumed with renewed fury. The main human fleet engaged the Devourers head-on, weapons blazing as they drew the alien swarm's attention. Under this cover, the Intrepid and its escort ships accelerated on a different vector, aiming for the first identified control node. They'd spotted us, Sharma reported as a segment of the swarm detached to intercept them. Stay on course, Elena ordered. All power to forward shields. The Intrepid shuddered under repeated impacts as Devourer craft sacrificed themselves against its defenses. Warning lights flashed across the bridge as systems trained to their limits. First target in range, the weapons officer announced. Fire. The Intrepid's main cannon discharged a specialized warhead, not designed to destroy through force, but to release a precisely engineered electromagnetic pulse combined with targeted radiation that the science team believed would disrupt the Devourer's biological communication network. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The section of the swarm near the targeted node suddenly lost cohesion, individual craft moving erratically or colliding with each other. It's working, Dr. Rodriguez exclaimed. The disruption is cascading through connected units. Target the second node, Elena ordered. allowing herself a moment of hope. One by one, the Intrepid and its escorts targeted the orbital control nodes, facing fierce but increasingly uncoordinated resistance. With each successful strike, larger portions of the Devourer swarm fell into disarray. "Captain," Sharma called out, "the surface controller is marshaling additional forces. They're adapting to our strategy. Then we take out the primary node before they can compensate," Elena decided. "Helm, set course for atmospheric entry. We're going down there." The Intrepid plunged toward Sanctuary 7's surface, its hull glowing red from atmospheric friction. Below, the massive primary controller organism had extended defensive structures hundreds of meters into the sky, surrounded by swirling clouds of smaller Devourers. "We can't get close enough for a direct hit," the weapons officer warned. Elena stared at the tactical display, mind racing for a solution. Then she saw it, the Luminar survivors, still holding out in their last stronghold on the southern continent. "Change of plan," she announced. "We're going to arm the Luminar survivors. Communications, contact their command center. Weapons, prepare our remaining specialized warheads for ground deployment." As the Intrepid fought its way through diminishing but still dangerous resistance, Elena outlined her strategy to the Luminar ground commander, a desperate plan that would require precise timing and coordination between space and ground forces. 20 minutes later, the Intrepid hovered over the Luminar stronghold, under continuous attack from Devourer forces. As the ship's shields weakened, transport shuttles delivered the specialized weapons and human technical teams to the surface. "Captain, we can't hold this position much longer," Sharma warned as another section of the ship lost power. "Just a few more minutes," Elena insisted, watching the progress indicators from the ground teams. When the signal finally came that the ground-based weapons were armed and ready, Elena ordered an immediate retreat to orbit. The Intrepid limped away from the surface, systems failing across multiple decks. From the relative safety of high orbit, Elena and her crew watched as the Luminar forces, guided by human technicians, launched a coordinated attack on the primary controller. The specialized weapons detonated in sequence, creating a disruption field that engulfed the massive organism. The effect rippled outward like a shockwave, causing Devourer forces across the planet to lose coordination. Some turned on each other, others simply ceased movement altogether. "It's working," Ambassador Zhou Carey whispered, skin glowing bright blue with hope. "They're collapsing." Within hours, the remaining human and Luminar forces began systematic cleanup operations, targeting isolated Devourer clusters that had survived the control system's collapse. It would take months to fully reclaim Sanctuary 7, but the immediate threat had been neutralized. In the aftermath, as Elena surveyed the damage to her ship and mourned the crews lost in the battle, Ambassador Zhou Carey approached her on the observation deck. "Captain Vasquez," the alien said solemnly, "the Luminar Collective will forever remember what humanity has done here today." Elena looked out at the scared planet below. "We did what was necessary, what anyone would do when faced with extinction." "No," Zhou Carey replied. "What you did, identifying the control structure, developing a targeted strategy rather than attempting to match our enemy's numbers, these are uniquely human approaches. The Devourers have consumed 17 worlds before this one, and none found the solution you discovered in ours." Elena turned to face the ambassador. This was only one battle. If the Devourers exist here, they likely exist elsewhere. "Yes," Zhou Carey acknowledged, "and that is why this victory changes everything. The Luminar Council has voted unanimously to formally invite Earth to join the collective, not as subjects or junior partners, but as equals. As guardians." "Guardians," Elena repeated, considering the implications. "It seems we found our place in the stars after all." As repair crews worked to restore the Intrepid systems and medical teams treated the wounded, Elena reflected on humanity's unexpected role in the cosmos. They had ventured into space seeking knowledge and peaceful contact with other intelligences. Instead, they had found war, but also alliance, purpose, and a unique position in the galactic community. The humans who had once been feared for their aggressive evolution and warlike history had become protectors. The very traits that had concerned the Luminar had saved them. As Elena watched Sanctuary 7 slowly rotating below, she could not help but wonder what other challenges awaited humanity among the stars, and what other strengths they might discover within themselves when called to act as guardians.